Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Happy World IBD Day.
Happy World IBD Day. You see, we can still drink wine as well. So we're the East Cornwall and West Devon team. We're not the whole team, we're just half of the team. I'm Shas, I'm joint chair with Danny, who's sitting in the background. Shout from Danny.
Hello. Hi guys, I'm Chynna. Make sure to give us a little comment if you're watching us live. We'd love to see who's out there watching.
Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm also on the East Cornwall and West Devon team, and I'm just here drinking wine. Nothing to add.
And answering any of your questions.
Yes, so we'd love to hear from you.
And I think we have one question already, don't we, Danny?
What are the benefits of becoming a member of Crohn's and Colitis UK?
Well, could I start by saying that I think it's really important to become a member because I think it gives our national charity a voice. Like, one of the things that's really important is for kind of like recognition by employers and by politicians and all these kind of things. And if Crohn's and Colitis go and say, oh, we've got this many people who are suffering, but then they can actually say, we've got this many people who it affects their lives so much that they feel that they want to be part of this organisation, I think that's really important. So it's great if you're tuning into this and you want to know more about Crohn's and Colitis, but please go the extra step so that your voice can use an endorsement of the charity. So that would be one of the things I would say.
I think that's right. I mean, they do lots of campaigns. They go to Houses of Parliament. We had someone who's recently been based in Houses of Parliament and going on committees and things. So they have campaigns about all sorts of things. Usually there's one big campaign in each year. So they go and do those things on all of our behalf. So it's something about giving to everything else. But they also give stuff to you when you become a member. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. So at the moment, you're lucky enough to get a radar key, which is really handy, especially just being out and about and being worried about being caught short. Even just the reassurance, I suppose, of knowing you've got that in your purse, as well as.
I think you should
tell them what a radar key is.
Yeah. So a radar key is a fabulous little magic key that gets you access to the disabled toilets. So quite often you've probably tried the door and it may be locked, and this key will give you access. I know for us, based down here. In Devon and Cornwall, it's in a lot of the big kind of department stores. There's lots of the restaurants, even in some car parks and things. Yeah. Really, really handy and useful to have in your purse. So I know for me that was a huge benefit of becoming a member.
Sometimes beach toilets
toilets
actually are often locked.
Yeah.
Because of it, yeah. I think you should say about the clubbing thing.
It's really handy with your
sorry,
young and sprightly and like to go out dancing. You have lots of friends wanting to join you in the toilet, and you can have access to the most spacious loo in the bar
and the clean one.
Yeah.
That's a really benefit that I think for me I'd say was probably the most valuable.
And you also get a can't wait card, which you hopefully will be able to wear and show into shops. If you can see that.
Anywhere really.
Yeah.
It just kind of like gives people an understanding of, like, you can say, oh yeah, I've got this illness, but it gives, you're able to go,
sometimes
sometimes you don't have to say anything.
No.
And actually that's can be the hardest thing.
Yeah.
So I think you summed it up perfectly. But you only get one of them if you're a member.
Yeah. And to be a member it's 15 quid a year. I mean, 15 quid a year is phenomenally cheap, really, if you think about it. If you pay by direct debit, so 15 quid a year. Just go on the Crohn's and Colitis UK website and sign up now. And of course, if you tick the box, I don't even know if you have to tick the box now, but whatever is your local group, now hopefully people around here who are looking are people based around here, and we are your local group, East Cornwall and West Devon. But there are about 50 or 60 other groups around the country, so if you're looking and you're not around this area, there might be a group in your area. And if you've become a member, then you'll also get information from us. So we do 4 newsletters in a year. We put on loads of events. So what have we got this year?
We've got a picnic coming up in July. We've had a ball this year.
We have. We've had a quiz and we're having another one later on.
Pig racing.
Pig racing. If you've never been pig racing, you should be there. September. Watch out. Come and look at our Facebook page.
We've had a medical speaker.
Yeah.
In November.
We just had Walk It.
Oh, yeah. Of course. We just had Walk It, yeah.
Walk It, yeah.
Yeah, the sun came out.
Yeah. Sorry, where was that?
I thought we were just making a
But yeah, we do lots of things locally as well as taking part in lots of the national events. You get lots of national and also local comms sent out to you post, email, and we always welcome your feedback on those, so don't ever hesitate to get in touch with us. We'd love to hear your thoughts on those. And also, I think for me
Thanks for the like.
I think for me was actually I put my blinkers on for a long time after I got diagnosed, actually knowing that you're not alone and kind of just that sense of community, even if it is just digitally and virtually like this. And, you know, if you're unable, don't really fancy attending some of the events, it's just actually nice to know that you're not alone. So I think that's also a real valuable benefit.
In fact, it was actually Chynna's idea to do this session, this Facebook live session, because we were saying, well, lots of people can't really get out. I mean, with what we've got, people don't want to go out all the time. One, because they're really, really tired, and two, because basically they can't be anywhere that's not near a loo. So people often don't want to come out. This way, you can stay in your own home and still join us.
Or actually, it might be neither of those things. It's anxiety about those things.
Absolutely.
So actually, they might, you know, they probably would be fine to come out to our events, but actually they're so worried.
Yes.
Even around other people. So when Chynna suggested this, we were like, that's great.
Yeah.
How do you stay healthy when having difficulties eating fruit and veg?
Oh yeah.
That's a really good question.
Well, it's difficult because I've found that there are some veg that I can get away with, but that won't be true of everybody. Everybody's slightly different, so I can eat carrots when I'm having a flare-up. I can still eat carrots, and I'm thinking, yay, carrots! And apples. But, and bananas, I think, is the other thing. Most of the other veg of any sort and fruit, I don't eat at all when I'm having a flare-up. When I'm not having a flare-up, it's fine. But like you say, when you're poorly, what can you eat? But the trouble is, it's not the same. It's different for every single person. Exactly. So I will tend to eat mostly all the things that you wouldn't normally eat, like crisps, chips and cakes, or you wouldn't eat all the time. That's what I eat when I'm having a flare-up, to be perfectly honest, with the odd carrot thrown in.
Yeah, no, everyone's different. I think, you know, and you can try all different things, like, you know, blitzing up in smoothies, making sure, you know, talking to, like, your IBD teams about, you know, vitamins and things if you're extra worried. You speak to them alongside you kind of, as kind of a tag team, know your body best. So, you know, don't feel too hard on yourself, I'd say, if you just are struggling to eat something. You know, that's absolutely fine, you know, and everyone is totally different. There isn't one rule, you know, not one size fits all. So yeah, absolutely. And for me, it was kind of trial and testing. Yeah. So keeping a food diary was really useful. And as Shas touched upon, what I could eat one week, I couldn't eat the next week. So just trying to keep a little food diary and just try and, I suppose, track patterns of things and talk to people for different ideas of how you can get whatever makes you feel good into your body.
Well, I'm actually under the IBD dietitian at Devon Hospital, and I had a bit of a...
Is that Emma?
No.
Oh, a different one.
Lucy.
Oh, okay.
You've really put me on the spot there if I'd forgotten her name. Lucy.
I remember Emma was trained in nutrition, wasn't she? That's
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And when I saw a dietitian that wasn't IBD trained when I was first diagnosed, I had some really, really bad experiences where they told me that I need to eat more fruit and more vegetables, and that was the problem and things like that. And it was, you know, and I, you know, spoke to IBD trained people and they were like, oh my goodness, ignore them. So I gave them quite a bad rap. And I've recently, over the last few months, and I basically get like a blood test before my meeting with her, and she looks at what vitamins and minerals and things that I'm deficient in, because obviously, yes, fruit and vegetables is a really efficient way of getting those things to your normal diet, but you might need to look at ways that are easier for your body to absorb those vitamins and minerals. So it doesn't mean you have to be that. And so, you know, she's put me on some mineral supplements and lots of different things. And I found it, my colleagues here will know that I was quite anti-dietitians. So for me to say this is quite a lot, actually it's been quite liberating that it's kind of like, actually, oh, I could try this and I can try that. And it's kind of like a guided path. So I think that that's something that, just because you can't eat fruit and vegetables doesn't mean you can't have those nutrients and you can't be healthy. It's just there are other ways around it, even if they're not the way everyone else does it. Thanks, Danny. That was a great question.
No, it was.
I've got a question. My child has recently been diagnosed with colitis. What support do you offer for parents from Crohn's and Colitis UK?
Well, there is a parent-to-parent helpline on the Central Crohn's and Colitis UK website, or you can get in touch with them by phone.
Should I interrupt you at that point and just say that we are not Crohn's and Colitis UK, we're just volunteers, so we can tell you what we know, but you might want to get... We're just experts in ourselves, so we're just informing you of what we might be told. We don't represent them.
So I'll just have a look at on the obviously we're a network that's part of the head office group, Crohn's and Colitis UK, and there is on there is a parent-to-parent helpline. The contact number by telephone is 0300 222 5700. That's 0300 222 5700. And they will help. They put parents in touch with other parents who have someone who's got IBD, and they can talk to each other. They can talk to the people at head office on the phone. They can talk to each other on the phone. And if we can get parent volunteers, that's even better, because we have very few people on our team who are volunteering who are parents. So we used to have one on our team, and we don't have one anymore, and it would be really nice to get one in. So if anybody out there is a parent and would like to get involved with us, then please let us know.
I've just had a question come in from Molly. Thank you, Molly, for your question. Is the little black and white ball going to be an annual event?
Oh, yes, please.
We'd like
love it to be.
Yeah, we'd like it to be.
I think we definitely will look at putting on another event of such a scale soon, as networking, looking to Little Black Dress and other corporates and businesses that would like to support that. So we definitely would plan on putting on maybe some bigger, more glamorous events like that.
Can you get bigger and more glamorous than that?
I meant as that.
Surely not.
I meant as that. So yeah, hopefully we'll be making them more regular. But it's really good to know that there's interest for another one.
Did you go, Molly? Did you like it?
Maybe she didn't get a ticket.
Maybe you didn't get a ticket.
Yeah.
Maybe you did.
Ticket in town.
Yeah.
And of course, we appreciate all your feedback on events that are put on by us and other individuals and businesses in aid of us to know what you guys like and what you don't like. That would be really useful, so we can provide you with what you guys really like and what you want to get involved with.
I mean, we've put on a boat trip, several different years we've put on a boat trip, and we were thinking about putting one on this year, but we decided not to because we've got so many other things going on. But we might do one next year. But you need enough support to make it worthwhile, otherwise we end up losing money. Obviously, we're not here to lose money. We're not necessarily here to make money all the time. A lot of it's about awareness, but we don't want to spend money that then we can't recoup from people. So a boat trip, because they cost a lot of money, those boats, so unless someone wants to offer to sponsor us, then that makes it quite hard to put one on unless we know we're going to get a lot of support.
But that's great to know that the
black and white ball,
which is something we want to put on again. So.
To be honest, I couldn't make it either, so I really want one next year.
No, but thanks to everyone who does support every single one of our events. It makes a huge difference.
Danny's got another question.
I'm about to take my GCSEs. Well, I'm not, but we've had a question. What support tips and tricks do you guys have?
Okay, I'm an ex-teacher, so I'll take that one to start with. The first thing I would say would be make sure your school are aware that you're suffering, whether you've got a formal diagnosis yet or not. If you do have a formal diagnosis, you can get access arrangements, so you can get things like, obviously you have permission to go to the toilet anyway, for example, but you can get, for example, rest breaks. So if you've got kind of a 3-hour exam or 2 exams which are back-to-back, for example, the school can ask for permission based on the evidence to do with your condition for you to have that time broken up, depending on how your condition manifests it. You can get extra time and things like that. So there are ways that you can be really supported. If you're normally fine, but on the day you find yourself feeling really unwell, all the stress and everything, make sure you let school know, because they can arrange for you to take your exam, for example, in a smaller venue where you're on your own, and also they can put a little note in with your exam to say that you were unwell and provide medical evidence that you have an ongoing condition. So there's loads of things that the school can do to support you, and ask for them, and if the school aren't coming forward with those things when you've told them, then kind of get in contact with us and we can support your school to support you.
And there are, if you want to go and look on the Crohn's and Colitis UK website, there are loads of publications, information sheets that you can get on there. You can get them for nothing. They're free. There's one in particular, Children and Young People with IBD, a guide for schools. So that's something that you can ask your school to download and read themselves so they can pass it around so they actually understand what you're going through. So that's a really good resource that you can get from our head office site.
And within a secondary school, it's highly likely that a member of staff has some sort of IBD, and even a higher likelihood that there are other young people who are suffering, and they aren't obviously broadcasting it because it's personal information about, but the fact that this is unfortunately such a prevalent disease means that there are things in place. You just need to access them and let people know that you need to access them.
Yeah, I went into a school, funny enough, very, very recently. I've been into a school, a secondary school, as you were just talking about, and the tutor group are doing a lot around Crohn's and Colitis because one of their classmates is a sufferer and she's missed a lot of school, but they're very much supportive of her. They've been trying to do things to include her, even though she's not there. They'll do stuff to support her. And when I went into the school, I was chatting to the receptionist, and she told me she suffered as well. So it just goes to show, you know, it's so common, and people don't realise how common it is. So you might feel like you're the only person in the world with it, but seriously, there are loads of people. I think it's 1 in 210.
Is it?
1 in 210 people, I think.
It's terrible, isn't it?
How did you feel when you were diagnosed? If that's not too personal a question.
Sure, yeah, for me, I think I was relieved. I didn't understand what having this tag of Crohn's that I suffered with originally, personally, I didn't know what it meant, you know, how many other people had it, but for me, I was relieved because getting diagnosed was quite a long, you know, it took a long time of tests in, you know, all different trials to find out what was really going on with my body. And for me, it was a huge relief just being able to put a label on it, whatever that label meant, and knowing that hoping that someone could help me. Of course, you kind of grow frustrations when you learn that no one really understands the science behind it or the magic cure. But for me, and I think like a lot of people that we kind of speak to who suffer with Crohn's or colitis, you know, the process of getting diagnosed can be quite long, tiring, quite emotional. And can take, you know, years at a time. So for me, it was a bit of relief to actually know that we knew what was going on with me and that I wasn't just completely crazy, that it had a name, and hopefully that, you know, that was just the start of my road to kind of recovery, no matter, you know, how long that may have been. For me, it was a little bit of relief.
I had the opposite of a long road. I got very, very ill, and everyone thought I had bowel cancer. So I had loads of tests in a very, very short space of time, and then I was diagnosed with Crohn's, but it was kind of like I haven't got cancer. Yes. That was my overriding thing, and I didn't really, like, some woman came to my bed and gave me a bunch of paperwork, and I was just like, that's fine, I haven't got cancer, whatever, love. And didn't really think much of it, didn't even get a chance to read the paperwork, and I was back in 2 weeks and had to have emergency surgery to have part of my bowel removed. So then I was recovering from surgery, and I didn't really take any of it in, really. I was 22, I wanted to be out, I wanted to be drinking, I was single, I wanted to be doing stuff. I didn't want this very embarrassing disease hung around my neck. So I didn't accept it, and got ill again. So don't do what I did. But I think from speaking to people, I think that's quite common, that people don't accept it, and, you know, being ill is not something that's easy to accept anyway, particularly when you're young and you think that you're invincible. Yes. And so, yeah, I would advise people to take it in and take your time. And I think probably, can I ask how old you were when you were diagnosed?
Yeah, 13.
Yeah, so I think, because I was kind of 22, I just started my career, I felt like I was kind of like really reaching out to the world on my own. and I think becoming ill made me feel that I couldn't reach out into the world as much like you could. You know, I didn't want to throw my mum and be kind of pathetic and stuff. So I'm in a different place now, and I'm much more able to listen to my body, and I champion people to deal with their disease better. So it's a really good question.
And that is the most common age. I mean, the most common age for people getting the disease is between 16 and 30. So it is in your like developing years, and when you're just branching out in the world. I mean, I didn't get it till I was about 44. So I was like, you know, it was the same kind of thing in that mine took a long time to diagnose, but it was that relief that it's not bowel cancer, and there is something they can give me that will help it. You can't cure it, but there's something they can give me that can help it. I can carry on working, it'll be fine. That's how I felt.
I suppose I had been diagnosed with IBS, and this is, I suppose, my chance to sound the information superhighway. People come up and say to you, "Oh, you've got Crohn's disease," and they talk to you about things to do with their bowels and things to do with their lives. I just say, go and ask for a blood test.
Yeah.
Just ask for a blood test. And people go, "Well, my doctor says it's IBS, and my doctor says it's this." I'm like, just ask for a blood test. You know, just ask them to do it. Let's see if your inflammatory markers are raised.
GPs can do a stool test now as well.
I sometimes think that scares people.
Yes.
Actually,
Yeah.
if you say stool tests, and it's like, oh my god, and it's like a blood test feels less scary. Yeah, and yeah, exactly. But I think so I do think like don't jump to the IBS conclusion. Like, go and have a blood test and let someone properly diagnose you with it.
I think knowledge is power. So
Yes.
be silly. You know, I had blinkers on for the best of 8-9 years, and I got nowhere with it really. So I think for me, actually, just opening my eyes, doing a bit of research, starting to understand my body was probably the best thing I did on my journey.
And in a way, that makes having IBD, in terms of other things that go wrong with your body as you get older, and all these other kind of things, or if you're ill or something.
Just talking about me, the old one.
Yeah. I understand my body better than I think most people. Like, someone will say to me, like, I'll go in because I've got a chest infection or something, and I'll be like, well, it's this kind of pain, like this, and it's here, and I've had it for this many, and I'm really in touch with my body, and I know the medication I'm on, and I know its side effects and things, and sometimes I'm sat there with the doctor and I go, can I be on that because I'm on this?
Yes.
And then the doctor pulls out the little book and goes, oh, I'll put you on something else.
Yeah.
And it's about having that knowledge about you're in control.
Yes.
Just because you've got an illness doesn't mean that you can't have that control and that knowledge. And just like you said, knowledge is power.
Yeah.
How are we
Do
doing,
we have
Danielle?
any more questions?
We've got 5 more minutes.
Oh, so I have 5 more questions.
Well, following on from undergone surgery, how do people exercise and deal with their fatigue if you've undergone surgery?
We'll have to ask Chynna. I think most of all recent.
I quite recently had some surgery, and definitely I think fatigue is something that I think is kind of overlooked a little bit, and it's very easy for people to say, come on, positive thoughts,
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah.
Well, right.
And I'm a real believer in kind of a strong mindset, but that aside, I think that it's definitely kind of overseen sometimes, and it's one of the things that actually can really get your morale down, and just constantly feeling drained and tired, and it's not a great feeling when, as Hannah said earlier, quite often when you're diagnosed or you are unwell, you do want to take on the world, and you wish you could be doing all these fabulous things out there, from travelling to working to there's never a good time, and no one ever wants to be ill, so just being tired on top of it and being really fatigued is really horrible. We keep saying about knowing your body. I think knowing your limits is really important.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm just me being me, always tend to try and push my limits a little bit, but always knowing when enough's enough. The last thing I think any of us want after going through surgery or generally just being ill is to make yourself worse. So learning how to listen to your body. But for me, it was definitely not being afraid of something hurting a little, or having to go to bed an hour earlier.
Yeah.
The following evening. Not being afraid of that. You push your body as much as you can. Know your limits. Be kind to yourself. And if that means you have to have a line in the morning, so what? Nothing's gonna change. Nothing's gonna happen. And for me, I keep going back to morale, but yeah, just making sure that you're always in kind of a good headspace was good for me, and knowing that it's okay to feel tired and, you know, have to have a lazy day in your pyjamas if it's what makes you feel good. You know, the following day, just take every day as it comes, and listen to your body, I'd say.
I quite like, do you know the spoon analogy?
No.
You know it? So basically, everyone has... One of my friends was diagnosed with ITP, which is a chronic disease, and she showed me this, and I was like, I've been chronically ill for ages, why don't I know about this? So basically, we all have a certain number of spoons to spend every day. So, like, you know, getting dressed costs a spoon, going out costs 3 spoons, going to work costs 6 spoons, okay? And each day, like, most people have got like 20 spoons. Some people with IBD have 10. And each day, we don't get a new 10. Unless we've kind of rested, so we have to work harder to get those 10 back. Right. So if you keep doing things which use all your spoons, so someone else can do sometimes twice the amount of things you can do and still be like going, yeah, come on, let's go and do something else. And actually you need to be able to recognise that sometimes you're going to pay the price. Like, you can do it, like say that positive, you know, this is really important to me, like, you know, I want to do this Facebook Live thing, so I'm going to go out on a weekday and have a glass of wine and go out with you guys, but actually I'm going to need to go home and I'm going to need to rest. You know, or I'm going to need to... There needs to be some sort of payoff in it. You know, I can't spend my spoons twice.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's quite a famous thing. If you go on like Pinterest and stuff, there's loads of stuff on spoon theory.
I also thought I'd just mention there are information sheets available on the national website which talk about employment and IBD, a guide for employees, and the same with a guide for employers. So if you're working and you're tired and you're finding yourself fatigued, you know, a lot of employers, if you make them aware of this information sheet, they will help you. A lot of them will help you. They'll allow you to come in later. They'll allow you to start later in the morning. It doesn't apply to all employers. Not all employers are good employers. I was really lucky when I was working. I had a good employer. And if you wanted to go in late, you could go in late. If you wanted to leave early, you could leave early. And they made allowances for that. So things can be done. You just need to have a look at this sort of information sheet and find out what you could do. It's worth asking. If you don't ask, you don't get.
I think on that note, sometimes certain parts of Crohn's qualifies under the Equality Act, so you are protected by the law to a certain extent. So obviously you want to find that positive way forward with the with your employer, but actually you do have certain protections under the Equality Act.
We've referenced those help sheets a couple of times, so we'll post them on our Facebook.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Afterwards, so you guys can access those because we've referenced them a couple of times.
Thank you. Danny's...
I'm afraid we've got to start wrapping it up, but we just need to remind people about the event that's going on the Crohn's and Colitis UK Facebook page in about 2 minutes' time.
Right, yeah, so when you log off of this one, do log in to Adult IBD Day on Crohn's and Colitis Facebook page, the Crohn's and Colitis UK main Facebook page. Again, we'll put a link up saying where that is afterwards.
And our next event?
Yes, and our next event...
Is it the 8th?
8th of July.
8th of July on Plymouth Hoe, Saturday the 8th of July on Plymouth Hoe.
Picnic on the Hoe!
It's a picnic, it's really easy going. Turn up with your picnic, or we're having it by the Liner Lookout Cafe. The lovely people there are supporting us with the event. So if you're too tired to put a picnic together, you can just turn up and buy lunch there. It should be really nice, just really easy going. They've got games outside for children to play. It should just be a really fun time, and it'd be really great to carry on this conversation.
Just chat with people, yeah.
This video will be available on our Facebook stream, so if you'd like to share with friends or give us your feedback, we really welcome that. And we hope to speak to you all soon. Speak soon. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.